Anybody know what the biblical question is for this week? Last week? What?
Wasn't it about what's happening to you versus what's happening outside of you or something like that?
So you didn't work on yourself this week.
I just forgot.
That's because you weren't working on yourself. These things that we talk about, we must not forget them. Use them and work on yourself with them.
Was I close?
All right.
Was I
Right
at least
here.
close?
Oh, later. Yes.
I believe it was, do we pay attention to what's happening to us or what's happening in us?
Ooh, she put you ashamed. Almost ain't good enough. Going to Mississippi and getting almost there is not being in Mississippi. Amazing, huh? The biblical question. Did you want to respond to that?
No.
Oh, oh, beta. Okay. Yes.
This question really opened my eyes to how I react to everything that's going on inside of me, especially because I know you're not a fan of this, but I've barely been coming here for just over a month, but I do go to therapy, and
You must be crazy.
yeah, I'm
You
crazy.
gotta be crazy
She's
to go to
crazy.
therapy.
Yeah, and this week when we were talking, she's like, "Well, how are you feeling about this? Like, what is this newfound clarity?" And I'm like, "There's no newfound clarity. I'm just not. I don't have an emotion to what I was talking about." And that wasn't a good enough answer for her. And then that really made me realize, like, I really do let things like inside of me have a reaction to everything,
Yes.
and that, like, because I was more mindful of it this week, things still had a reaction. I still had reactions to stuff, but because I was able to really identify it this week, it's like she didn't like that. That wasn't good enough. That wasn't a good enough answer to when I told her I didn't have a reaction to, she's like, no, but get in touch with your feelings. This is the part that you always have trouble with, is that you can't connect to how you're feeling. And I'm like, I just, this situation just doesn't make me feel anything, though, because when I boil it down, it's because my ego wants to, get at me, but I just quiet that down.
Right
And
on.
it just wasn't good enough for her.
And
So
did you ask for your money back? And
I reduced my sessions. I'm not ready to fully let her
Right
go just
on.
yet, but I told her that I'm ready
Nice.
to do that. So
don't waste your time, but you're right. Do it the way you see it, but
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah.
Amazing.
So great question.
Nice. This question is so important because what I want you to know, without a doubt, I'm not making it up, it's the truth. And there is no such thing as something happening to you. There is no you for anything to happen to you. It's happening in you. So never say to yourself again or out loud, what's happening to me? It's what's happening in me. And like what Joel was saying, it's happening in you. It's in your imagination, your emotion, and you're not your imagination. You're not your emotion. You're not your thought. It's not happening to you. So it's happening in you. So watch what's happening in you, not to you. It's just going to free you up. And you're going to stop having this false identity about anything. You're not your emotion. You're not your thought. And when someone hurting your feelings, they're not hurting you. They're hurting your ego. They're not hurt when they're cursing you out, when they're walking out on you. They're not walking out on you. They're walking out on your ego if you feel something about it. You have made them your God. There's no such thing as something happened to you. It's happening inside of you. What's happening in me? What's going on in me? So you can see what's going on. Then you see it, you overcome it. You really will. All right? Any disagreement with that? There is no you. Amazing, huh? Yes.
I don't disagree. I just don't see that
Right.
yet. And I don't really know how to see that.
Wow, I love that. That is so deep. I'm glad you said it. You just lost your beta status for a minute. Did you want to respond to what she said? That's okay.
Great morning, Jesse. One of the things that I've noticed, especially with what you asked right now, a lot of people they think you're crazy when you don't react to them, when you don't react to the things that happen to you.
Yeah.
And they look at you like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm like, nothing. Like, there's no reason for me to react with an emotional
Never.
response anymore. Because
Absolutely.
before I woke up, I was very reactionary. But and I think that the more that I work on myself, there's times where I catch myself wanting to react to something, but then
Yeah.
I'm like, why? I just ask myself why,
That's right.
and it cuts it all off.
Pay attention. Absolutely, man. The beauty of not knowing that you don't see it, you don't understand it. Maybe too, it may not, but I understand it. Stay with it, and the Father will reveal it to you. He will bring it to light. Really, it's so amazing. And your dark state of mind, your darkness of your mind will disappear, and your mind will be made clear, and all these things will be made clear to you. They will come. Just stay with it. And Satan will tell you, oh, it doesn't make sense yet, or it don't make sense. It's too hard. It won't make sense. It will make sense. That's Satan lying to you about that. So just stay with it. It will be made clear. That is I want to use the word insane, but it's amazing that happened. It will come to be made clear. Just stay with it. And don't lie to yourself that I do understand it when you really don't understand it. And don't go teaching about it when you really don't understand it. It will be made clear. Amazing, huh?
Amazing.
Just stay present. Practice staying present. All right? Yes, sir.
Going off of what she said, all these educated people in the world, they make it so complicated for you to better yourself. And then you give this simple, it's the simplest way to do it. And like he said, people look at you like you're crazy, man. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's work on yourself.
Yeah, it is. Amazing.
Yeah.
Educated people are dumb. Everybody with a degree, dumb. And the more degrees, sorry, degree people. I love degree people. But the more degrees you have, the dumber you are. Why not just get a little BA up at the city college or the trade and go to work? Why you need a PhD? All you're doing is paying the extra money. It's not making you smarter. It makes you dumber. And the one reason that we're all suffering in life, one reason, and maybe two, but one reason, the first reason, we've been taught wrong. We've been taught how to live. Our parents should have never taught us how to live. They should have never taught us about morals and values and how to treat each other and how to live. They set us up to lose and to suffer because we've been trying to live the way they told us to live. And then we look around, they're not even living it. They don't love their neighbor. They only love one another, but they tell you to love one another. Love your neighbor, treat people the way you like to be treated. Have morals and values, and they tell you, they outline what the morals and values are, and you try to live up to them. Don't be a slut maker. And first thing you become a slut maker. You try not to be. And then they say, don't be a slut. And what do you become? A slut. And you're trying to live up to it. It's not like you're just disobeying your parents. You are trying to live up to it, but you can't do it. And you spend your whole, I'm counseling with people 80 and 90 who are trying to live up to those values. And they've never been able to do it. And they really tried. They went to church and they held Mary until the cows come home. You know who Mary is, right? The Catholic lady. They held Mary, they held Jesus, they held everybody over and over again. And that didn't work. They did 20 Hail Marys. They even do this. It still don't work. They walk right out of Mary's church and cuss out their neighbor. And then the intellectual people have told us, well, you get a better education, you'll be smarter. You'll be an expert, you'll be this. And then they're like, oh, you need a PhD for it. You need a whatever type of, when you really, if all you need, if you want a degree at all, a little piece of paper that says, I now know how to be a doctor. And it's a trade. It's not who you are, right? So they've lied to us. And then the preacher lied to us. The preacher tell us, you are all sinners who need to be saved. Come down to the front of the church, confess your sins, and accept Jesus. Or the Catholic religion said, come over to this window and talk to somebody behind that door. You have no idea who you're telling, who you're talking to, right? And that doesn't work. You go around and accept Jesus, that doesn't work. You try to accept Jesus, you read the Bible, you hoop and holler, and you still cry at night. You're still lonely. You still have fear. You still look for love. And then they tell you, well, you can't have perfect peace because you're in a body. You're a human being. That's the biggest lie you've ever been told. What does peace and a human body have to do with one another? A human body is just a house you live in. It's not going to bring you joy. The only time a human body will bring you joy is if you work out at the gym 24 hours a day, you have a fine body. And you walk around the gym, everybody looking at it. And you get a thrill from that. But you still go home and cry at night. And then they tell you, oh, you should be married. You should have children. That's the moral value. That's the right. And you run and get married. Because they said it. The parents said it. The church said it. Somebody said it. Educated people said it. And what do you catch? Nothing but misery. Now you're married to somebody you don't like. And they don't like you. Because after a while, that fake love will disappear. And then they say, well, have some children. And then you make children, and then you hate the children, and they hate you. They lied to us. You're never going to be able to live up to that. You got to let all that go. Don't live up to anything. Then you'll live. You must be willing to let everything and everybody and everything go. Don't let nothing be that important to you, or no one. If you do that, you have a false God. You make them your God, and you will never know God. You have a false God. And it's miserable when your God desert you, walk away from you. You're now crying, you're fighting, you're talking to the neighbors and everybody trying to get your God back or trying to make your false God look like he or she was the problem. And they were never your problem. The problem is in here. You try to live up to something you're never going to live up to. You're not going to live up to it. It ain't going to work. And you teach the same thing to your children, and they walk the same and suffer the same way you suffered. You know, you've had sense enough to see, well, my way didn't work. Why would I teach this to the children? You don't love the children, that's why. Because if you love them, you would not teach them that mess. You would not teach them that. Yes.
So what are you supposed to teach children? Because I don't have any yet, and I kind of do want some, but I'm not even sure. So
Right.
what are you supposed to do?
Teach them nothing.
From basics, like, other
The
than...
moment they pop out of the womb, teach them nothing. You be that example, and the light in you will... They're already of the light when they pop out. Sorry, kids. Pop out means burn. If you're of the light already, the kids are already of the light, they're going to just follow the light that's in you. They're doing everything else wrong that you're doing. They're following your darkness, right? They will follow the light in you, and the Father will teach. As the Father is teaching you, He will teach them. You will be a living example. And when they have questions, and they will, you answer the questions. The kids are going to always have questions. And you'll be able to answer their questions with love and not with anger. And they'll be fine. And you'll start a new generation. But you got to be right in order to do that. What do you think about that?
I think I'm not ready to have kids.
That's for
And
sure.
you know what's so crazy is, you know, I'm talking to a lot of people and friends and stuff. They're like, you can just have a kid on your own and just go get IVF and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, everybody makes it so about them why they want a kid, but it's about the kid and they need a mom and a dad. And every time I tell them that, they make me feel like I'm crazy. Like, no, you can do it on your own. It's like, I don't want to do that though.
Don't
It's
listen
not
to
about
the
me.
devil. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. You got to live your life. Your life,
Yeah.
not the world life. Christ came so that we may overcome the world. You got to overcome the world.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, but they lie to us a lot and they make it seem like you can do it on your own and, you know,
Yeah.
really empower the single mother culture. I don't want,
It's the
I
worst
don't want
thing
any
that
part
ever
of that.
happened.
Yeah.
One of the worst things. Amazing, huh? You're absolutely right. Amazing. And it's not abnormal to want kids, but you want them in the right way and at the right time and for the right reason. You don't want kids so you can be happy. You don't want kids so you can feel like you're being loved and that you're giving love. That's not a reason to want kids. Buy yourself a doll if you're that serious. You know what I mean? Amazing.